welcome to the Morning Coffee Inspiration at Night. So glad to have you all tune in with us on this evening as we sit down with author Patrice Richardson, author of the book I Am Patrice. We're so glad to have her here. All of you that are tuned in right now, go ahead and give her a hand, even though we can't hear that or see that, but we're so glad to have her here with us for this sit-down interview. We do hope that you all have already purchased your book. If you have not, we want to encourage you to. This is the book here, I Am Patrice. So, I don't know about you all, but even after reading the book, before reading the book, I've been curious just to actually talk to this author, to hear her heart as she poured it so gracefully into this book. It's one thing to read about it. Mm-hmm. But it's another thing to sit down with the author and to hear the author's heart.
Yes.
And that's what we want to do on tonight. So again, welcome. We're so glad to have you. So glad to have you. Anything you'd like to say before we jump right in?
Yes, I want to first give honor, thanks to God for having me just still here in life alone and going through this and giving me grace every day. Grace is something that's not long term. It's something that is short term that God grants us that people don't allow. Not only that, I just want to thank Pastor Frazier from Revelation yesterday.
Okay.
He blessed me on yesterday with a word of telling your story.
Okay.
And that's what he preached about yesterday.
Wow.
And it just touched me in so many different ways. And it was on Acts chapter 26, verses 1 through 18. Amazing. Yes. And just how God gives us grace. And so I just want to thank my parents, my family, my friends, everybody that's watching.
Yes, indeed.
Today, and this is first of many, like it's so many books right now. So this is a lot for me. And
right.
So I'm ready. I'm excited, but I want to say thank you to everybody that is supporting me, that's guiding me, that's giving me a word, that's putting me on their platform, that has built to me into this woman that I am today. And I just thank God for that, and I thank my family and friends for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get right in.
Yes.
Let's do a few icebreaker questions because we want people to know exactly who you are. So who is Patrice beyond the title of this book?
Patrice is an entrepreneur. She strives for growth. Okay. She is somebody that's still learning, that's still being guided by God. And so God is preparing me, and I'm ready for the preparation that God has for me. So I know that God has a purpose for me, and so I am that person. But this version of me, it wasn't always this version.
Okay, then.
And I'm definitely not perfect, but it's something that I'm working on with me every day. I'm striving for not perfection, but just to continue to be the woman that I'm supposed to be in God's eyes. So that's where I am with everything, with the growth. So I'm just this entrepreneur. I work a full-time job, people. I don't just travel the world. I work full-time. And I love what I do. I give back into what I do because working in healthcare, working in the hospital admin side is something that a lot of people don't know that I do, but I am the program manager for a place. I can't say the name, but I work in healthcare and I enjoy what I do, and I love giving back. So shout out to everybody that knows where I work. Shout out to
and hopefully they're watching tonight.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, what I heard some philanthropy. I hear that you like sewing back into the community. Definitely have a heart for people.
Yes.
So that is some of the person behind all of what we see or what we've read in this book. All right. So just to further build on that, I'm just curious, if someone met you for the very first time and there wasn't a formal introduction of anyone, telling who you are, what would you want people to know about you?
I'm down to earth. I'm an easy listener. I'm going to listen. But I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. I'm going to be funny. I'm going to be excited because I stay excited about everything.
Yes.
And
I can agree.
yes. And so, and that when they do come to me, and I think a lot of people do meet me in that aspect because I do have this aura about me that's so open. And I've had people to tell me recently, like, oh, you're not stuck up. Oh, you're not.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I'm like, no, I'm a regular person. And I think it surprised people because they assume that they know me.
Right.
But when they start talking to me, they're like, oh, she's normal. I'm a normal person. I'm an everyday person. But when I want them to take away that, oh my God, she heard me. She listened to me.
Right.
And that's people, we don't do that enough. It's just listen. Everything doesn't need a response. We just need to listen.
That's right.
So
I agree with that. I truly agree. And it's so important that people know that others hear them, see them. And what I'm hearing you say is that you're very intentional
yes.
in being that for people, letting people know you're seen, you're heard.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. So, I know some have probably asked you, friends and family. Here you are, over 50. Why now? Why tell your story now?
It's a good question. I wasn't going to tell this story.
Okay. All right.
The reason why I wasn't going to tell this story is because I was afraid of how other people would feel about what's in the book. And this is a true, based on a true living situation book. It's not a fiction book. This is based on real life. So definitely, I think a lot of people think that it is a fictional book because, and this is something I want to clarify today, is it's not where I came from or who you know in my family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know my story.
Yeah.
So my story is my story.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the day, we all go through something. You don't know
Absolutely.
that people are going through things.
Absolutely.
Because they keep it secrets. They keep everything private. My story is not only to tell my story,
mm-hmm.
but it's to help people that are going through.
Yeah.
And if you read the book, this is like every family. This is a every family book.
Yes.
This has touched one family that you know of. Right. And that's the thing, and that's why it's relatable. Not only to women, but to men. Because men go through things, and they need support. They need someone that's going to go through those things. So this book is not just for women. It's for everybody that has gone through something that is mentally have drained, don't know where to turn, don't know where to go. This book is for those people that have tried everything, but you ain't tried God. That's that book.
Come on, preach now.
And so that's the thing is that you have to get in the thought of, it's not just about I am Patrice. The book is not about me. It's about everybody.
Yes.
It's just my name. I just use my name. But you a Patrice, I'm a Patrice. The next person is going to be a Patrice.
Yes.
We don't know. It's just your story, your time, your process on where God has you in your life and in your story. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like Pastor Frazier said yesterday, tell your story.
Yes.
And that's what in Acts chapter 26, 1 through 18,
mm-hmm.
it does. It tells us the story of Saul.
Yes, it does.
And so that's the thing is that we have to get in the habit of not being afraid. And being able to tell your story, no matter if somebody believes it or not, we have to be able to put it into words so that we can share. Because I don't know how much
mm-hmm.
my book has helped somebody. I get emails. And thank you guys for the emails, your text messages, everything about how this book has blessed you. You've cried reading the book. It is something that has touched me, and I'm going to continuously put out books. I have a second book that's about to come out.
Okay.
Yes, and so I want to be able to touch people in different ways, but you can be an everyday person.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you can have a relationship with God. That doesn't mean you have to be a holy roller. It's your relationship with God, and it's your story.
That's right.
So that's something that is important that I definitely wanted people to know.
Yes.
That this book is a real book, no matter where I come from, this book is real.
So you heard it from the author. It is definitely a real life story.
Yes.
Nothing fictional about it. And I have to agree with you. As I read the book, even if some of the things didn't connect with me, I was able to identify different people who I knew had been on your journey or currently in that situation and on that journey.
And they don't know a way out.
No, they don't.
A lot of people don't know how to maneuver when they have a catastrophic situation that happen.
Yes.
They don't know how to come out of that.
Absolutely.
And then they think, oh, well, I got to go here. I got to go here. And then the first place is family. And then most of them
sometimes let you down.
will let you down.
Yes. Friends
will let you down.
Let you down.
And so who else you got to turn to? God. God said give him all, not some, but
right.
give him all of your worries.
And as I like to say, all means all.
All means everything.
All means all. Everything.
Everything.
There's no thing that you keep nothing.
Yes.
No thing. Giving everything. Yes.
And no, I'm not going to start a church anytime. Let me be very clear.
Oh my goodness.
I will come and visit your church, but I will not be starting a church. I just want to say.
So you've had that question?
Yes.
Apparently.
Somebody called me a first lady. I was like, no.
So no, but you definitely have a ministry.
Yes.
You definitely have a ministry.
Yes.
And you don't have to pastor a church to have a ministry to reach people, bless people, change people's lives. No, you do not. And this book is transforming.
Yes.
It is a transformational story. So you really have got to read it. We're going to give you as much insight as we can on tonight. Hopefully that it encourages you to purchase the book and read it. But it's an easy read. And I know some people don't like reading, but I love saying, and I keep saying, it's an easy read.
Mm-hmm. You can read it in one day.
Yes, you really can. It's an easy read that you can read in one day. And it's engaging. And that's so important.
Yes.
You have to know that it's engaging. Because sometimes, some stuff doesn't get good till you get to the middle.
Yes. And I've had a daughter and a mother to call me and say we had to read the book together. It was emotional.
Oh, wow.
It was a connection. It connected them in a different way. And not only did it connect them, but they couldn't put the book down until they finished it.
Right.
And that set a tone for me because it made my heart smile that I was able to bless somebody else with something because you don't know their story. And so I'm glad that I'm able to bless families, especially mothers and daughters, together where they can sit and read together. That is a huge blessing.
Absolutely.
So I thank God for that He's using me for that vessel.
Absolutely.
To connect families.
Yeah, that bonding aspect.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So I have to know, were there any challenges along this journey with getting everything to pen to paper?
Yes.
To publisher?
Yes. It was, actually, I thought about this book. Shout out to Michelle Gibson with the Unstoppable Women's Connection with Ben Tankard, Dr. Jewel Tankard in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I went to her. She's put me on several platforms and I told my story.
Okay.
And this is how the book came out. And so I've spoken on her platform at a women's conference in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at Ben Tankard's church.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to do a book. But I never said it to anybody else. I just said it to her. And she said, we'll get together and we'll do a book. And so I was like, okay. She said, I said, I don't even know where to start. And so maybe a year later, I was on a phone call with a friend, and she gave this prophet my number.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I want him to pray for me. And she was like, okay. She said, that's what he's going to do. And we got on the phone. I cannot release his name. He is a prophet for a lot of celebrities, so I cannot release any names at this time.
Okay.
Because I didn't get permission. And
that's right. We're going to do it proper.
yes. And so when we first got on the phone, and he said, woman of God, why haven't you written your book? And I said, what? It was shocking because I was like, I had not shared that with anybody. And he was like, your book is going to be a best-selling book. And I was like, okay. And I let him finish talking, and he said, not only that, but you have a gift. And I said, yes. And I said, I've been fighting with my gift. I know I have a gift, but I've been fighting my gift. And I didn't want to share my gift. And he was like, God don't just give gifts.
No.
And if he gives you a gift, you need to share it.
Right.
It's for you to share.
Right.
And he said, but write the book. I did not write the book then. It bothered me because I was still on the fence of writing the book.
Okay.
And they had an event in Atlanta, and Michelle came down to Atlanta, and I worked with her on a project with the BET Hip Hop Honors.
Okay.
And we talked again, and she said, well, have you even thought of the name of the book? And I said, I am Patrice. And she said, that's the name of the book. So that's how we got the name of the book. In the middle of a situation, that's how we got the name of the book, like in an instant. I was like, okay, God gave me that title. And it was like, well, what else did I name it? Because we kept calling. I was like, but the book is about me. So it's I Am Patrice. So that's how the book came about. And then even after speaking with the prophet, I didn't write the book for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And when I decided I was going to write the book, I started searching for publishing companies. And I kept seeing people say, oh, I self-publish. And I was like, no, I don't want to self-publish. I need to get this book published. So when I reached out to Exclusive Publishing in Odessa, Texas, group of men, amazing men.
Okay.
They met with me. They were like, okay, what's your book is about? Have you written anything? Have you put anything together? And I was like, no, I just been waiting. He was like, start writing the book. He said, I want the book. From our first conversation, we sat on the call and they were like, we want this book.
Okay.
And we would do whatever it takes. And so they told me their fee. I paid them a fee. And I got them. I was writing manuscripts. I was getting off of work and writing. I was like, no, I can't do nothing. I'm going to write this book. And he was like, wow, you literally wrote your book. And it took you maybe 6 months to write this book.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't take me long because I had already mentally, I know everything. So I started it already. So it was easy to write.
So it was like journaling.
Yes, it was journaling for me. And things that you keep up with. And that's also a good thing if you're going through something and you're not sure of how you feel that day or something that made you very upset, write it down.
Write it down.
And come back to it later, but write it down.
Yes.
And you don't have to share it with nobody. Pray about it.
Yes.
And put God in all of that. Just write it down. God got you. Trust me. I'm telling you, this story is so amazing to me on how God just pulls me in that direction. And I'm going to share the beginning of how I even got on this journey of being reborn again and saved as a Christian versus me just being a Christian. There's a difference. A lot of people don't realize that there is a difference. So I had to go through that process, and again, not a perfect person at all. I still listen to Carly B. So I'm not perfect at all, but at the end of the day,
some secular music. But go ahead.
So yeah, but I'm gonna give God His first off the top. He's going to get that praise and worship every day. I need it because I can't start my work day without it. And that's something that's important to me because it gets my day started, but it sets the tone for my day. And some days I stay in praise and worship all day because sometimes it'd be like, ooh, you need it all day. And so sometimes I have to, me and Tasha Cobb become best friends almost because I have to stay in it.
Right.
And you know, God will keep you in it. If he knows you need it, he will keep you there. And so sometimes I just need it. And I think, and shout out to Nancy Everhart, the best personal assistant I could ever have working for I Am Patrice. Let me tell you, amazing, and I know you're watching. So I want to say thank you.
You know,
everything.
Nancy is a part of the Morning Coffee family, so you all should have seen that name at some point in the morning.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. This just, when she sees me about to blow a little bitty gasket, she be like, she be like, not today. We're not doing that today. I love that because she knows how to keep me grounded.
Yes.
And that's so important, to be around people that can help you elevate back, to put you back on that plain level field, because it's so easy, especially as a person living in the world, it's easy to get elevated. And so I love the fact that when she's around me, it's like having that person that just, everything is just smooth. And I was like, I know God sent you to me. I know he sent you to me. And she said, when we met, I know that God was sending you to me. And I said, honey, I'm all in. I'm 1,000%. So she is probably one of the most amazing people I have ever met. And I thank you for that, for having the gathering for us to even meet. So I'm grateful for that, truly grateful for that.
And that's where those kind of connections are made. I try to be very intentional in the things that I do, the people that I do it with and do it for, and just making sure that I create spaces.
Yes.
Like tonight, creating this space.
Yes.
Because we want people to know about your book. We want people to know about you. So let's get back to some more of these questions. So let's start digging into the book.
Okay.
All right. In the very beginning, like every good book, there's an introduction. And in your introduction, you write that this book was born from hardship,
yes,
healing, discovery, and faith. Which of those 4 words best describes your journey? I know you had all 4 in there, but if you had to choose one, I'll give them to you again. Hardship, healing, discovery, and faith.
I'm going to say faith.
Okay.
Because I had to trust and have faith in God that he got me when I was standing on that corner that day. The weirdest thing is that I've always been a Christian. I was born and raised at Stone Street Baptist Church here in Mobile, Alabama. My grandmother had me in the church consistent, whether my mama dropped me off or somebody dropped me off. I was in the church.
You were at church.
I was at church. So I was already baptized and born. And that's something we don't lose sight of. But that particular day, I was in a shelter. I could hear the choir singing. And I went, did not have on no church clothes. I think I had on some shorts because it's hot in the summertime in California. And I started walking, but never found the church. And so I heard the music and I stood there and I sung the music, and then the following Sunday came. I said, I'm going to this church. I'm going to find this church. And I walked, still didn't find the church. I went down the streets. I did not find the church.
But you could hear it.
Clear. It was like they were in my ear. It was so clear.
Wow.
And the song "We Fall Down But We Get Up" was playing. And when I got to that corner and it got even louder and clearer, I was like, okay, God, whatever it is, it's nothing else I can do. And when I cried, I mean, people thought I was mentally crazy because I was literally crying and screaming on a corner
Okay.
in Long Beach, California. And I'll never forget a homeless man. He said, "Oh, baby, are you okay?" And I said, "Yes,
He was
I am."
checking
He
on
was
you.
checking on me. I should have been checking on him. And so that's the thing is that at that moment, I was like, God, from this day forward, I'm giving this all to you. I I didn't have any contact with anybody. I did that on purpose. Um, the biggest thing is we tend to tell everything to everybody, but
Mhm.
not go through our process on our own. And I did not stay in contact with anybody because I needed to stay on my journey.
Okay.
And that was a journey I chose to take. It wasn't I couldn't come home. It wasn't that my family didn't want me back in Mobile. It wasn't any of that. I chose to be on my own journey and to do my own thing. I was young. I was barely 21.
Oh, still
And
crazy.
I was still
Okay.
crazy. I
Okay.
wasn't even smart yet.
Right.
Like
That frontal lobe had not
Right.
developed yet.
no, no. And so it was like, I want to do my own thing. I was like, "Ooh, I'm out here. I want to do it. And everybody, it's California. You can't fail in California. But you can.
You can fail
Anywhere.
anywhere.
Even here in Mobile, Alabama.
Yes.
You can. And so the thing about it was, I had to go to God in that moment. And I was like, I'm giving this all. But when I did that, God started moving. He was like, that voice, I've been waiting on you.
Absolutely. He's always waiting.
He's waiting. And it's not where, again, I'm going to say what I said earlier. Grace is not a long-term thing. It's a limit to grace. So that's the thing.
People need to know that.
Yes.
That's why the Bible encourages us not to suffer grace and not to take advantage of grace and not to cause grace to that much more abound because you keep putting pressure on grace. All right, I'm not here to preach tonight. We're here to talk about your book.
But and that's the thing. I didn't know that then.
And a lot of us don't.
I think I had all the grace. I thought I had everything.
God's
I
just
was
gonna
like,
keep
he
letting
just
you.
gonna keep doing his thing, and I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And I think I can still be in the Word and still do in God's Word. It wasn't working like that. But that day, I'm gonna say 2 weeks after that, and I can't do the full chronological order. I worked the whole time I was homeless. I did not work. I worked the entire time. Nobody
And there are some people that actually do.
Yeah, you
Working, looking as though they're functioning.
right.
Yeah.
And when I told people, even at work, and even the young lady that took me home with her, and I told her I lived in a homeless shelter, she was like, "No, ain't no way, not you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I live in a homeless shelter. It was storming that day, and that's why she took me home. Because other than that, I would have took the bus." But she took me, and 2 weeks later, after that, I had a place to stay. I had a whole new family in Compton, California, and I honestly I can't remember the family's name, but when I say the love that they had for me, and didn't even know me, did not know me. And her mother was like, "I just got another child. Come on in here and put your bags down." And I was like, wow. I ate like them. I went to the grocery store like them. I mean, everything was everything. And then I got my own place. And God just kept showing me, just keep believing in me. Just keep showing me that if you trust me, then I got you.
Yes.
And so I got my own place, and then I started back connecting. I stayed out of contact with my family, and so at that point, I contacted my family,
Okay.
And so I was able to see my family at that time. And there were other things going on, and then 9/11 came. And I was living close to the World Trade Center in Long Beach at the time. And I'll never forget, my mom called me that morning and she said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I thought it was a movie playing on the TV. When I was like, "Oh, it's the World Trade Center." They just got, not knowing
That
this is real.
happening.
This is real
It's
life
real
happening.
and happening in the moment of us seeing it on television.
Right, and not
Yeah.
only was that happening, but I didn't know that Long Beach World Trade Center was being targeted as
Right.
well.
Right.
And I lived literally 2 blocks from the World Trade Center. And at that time, they were coming down the street to make us evacuate.
Oh wow.
So I evacuated my apartment that day for a couple of hours until they got everything back on track. But that was, it was something just to remember, and just for all the people that lost their lives that day, my heart still goes out to those families, to those people, because
Absolutely.
that could have been so different. And
For
so,
all of us.
for all of us, that was a game changer in life. Although it was, we talking a century ago, and that was something that we can never just say we can forget about it.
Right.
We're never
Absolutely.
gonna forget 9/11, and so that's something definitely that I will always remember. That is definitely. So I take Veterans Day very personal. And shout out to all the veterans out there, everybody that's still serving. I
Yes.
still have family
Yes.
that's serving.
We honor you.
We honor you.
Salute you.
And yes,
Appreciate
definitely. And
you,
I appreciate
celebrate
you
you.
so much.
Yes.
And so I have young cousins that are going into the military right now. I have some that are serving, just like your son-in-law is over there serving. And
Right.
so it's just, we're grateful for all of them that are willing to serve our country.
What a big sacrifice.
Yes. For us and your families.
Yes.
So I thank you guys for that. And so it was just that part of just beginning that part of my life. And I joined a church in Long Beach. And what was funny about it was St. Peter Missionary Baptist Church in Long Beach, California. I belong to
I was gonna say, didn't you?
I belong to St. Peter Missionary Baptist Church here in Mobile.
Okay.
And I joined that church. God used me so well. I became the youth coordinator.
Wow.
I did the youth Bible study. I became the church secretary.
Okay.
I was on the missionary board. They had never had a Black History program. And I gave them their first Black History program. I even catered the food, everything. Because let me tell you, me working, keep in mind, homeless for 3 years. I had my own place. I had a car. Now I'm in church and I'm serving God and I'm serving His people. And that's the love that you can't get that. And to become a part of families.
Yes.
And they knew my journey and they just gravitated to me. And I gravitated to them. I was going to the pastor house eating those Sundays. Like I just became one of his kids.
Right.
And I would never ever forget that family for that, and just the love
Yes.
that people give. And again, here it is, your own family sometimes. They don't even want to give that same grace.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
They don't. And that's something as individuals and as families we have to get in the habit of working together, building together, growing together. And even close friends. I have close friends that we're like sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the book resonated with them because they know me. And for them to call me and tell me that, hey, I think I cried and wanted to fight all at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like,
goodness.
no, we're not going to fight nobody.
Oh my
But
goodness.
at the end of the day, I will say this. I don't regret it. Because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be this woman.
Yes.
This woman that God has helped me to become this version, I wouldn't be her. I wouldn't be here. So I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the hardships, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've gone through some things, I've seen some things, and I don't regret any of it at all. I would never regret it.
It built you. It made you.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I think I am a
Shaped
very,
you.
oh God, yes.
Yes.
And then I come from a good background of a family, so it just strengthens me on every level at that point to have seen so many different areas of life
Right.
that people haven't even experienced. And pray to God they never have to experience that part of life. But just to know that you don't have to go through things, and that's what the book does. It talks about going through things and then coming out of it, and then how you grow from your experiences.
And that's the key.
And that is the number one thing.
Yes, that's the key. Going through, but knowing that there is a coming out. You don't have to stay in the place that you're in. You
No.
don't have to always be down. There is a time where you can literally be up. But it's choosing God
Yes.
in the process. So having said that, I just want to say a few things to kind of make sure our audience stays engaged with the fact you're the author of this book, I Am Patrice, written about your life starting at about 21 years old. Currently, our author is a fabulously 50 plus. We're just going to say that.
Yeah.
Fabulously 50 plus. And it spans over your life's journey from about, 21 until your 30s maybe?
Yes.
From what I gathered
Yes.
in reading the story. So from 21 to in her 30s.
Actually 42.
Okay, up to
Because
42.
Piper came around.
Well, yes,
42.
because as we go into the story of Piper, so that would be correct. And you all will learn about Piper in just a few minutes here. And talking about your life over a span of 20 plus years.
Yes.
And in this journey, it talks about your homelessness, you having to depend on resources that you never thought you would have to depend on in the process of being homeless. But understanding you all, she had a whole support system back here in Mobile, Alabama.
Yes.
She was out in California, but these were some choices that she made. So yeah, some of the struggle, and I'm saying this intentionally because some of us have struggles that we've allowed in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's be honest, some created.
Yes.
And definitely by choice. Nonetheless, it was our experience.
Yes.
And you're talking about your experience.
Yes.
So in that, the resounding theme throughout your book is that no matter what happens, God never stops being God. That's the resounding theme that I heard throughout the book.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. So no matter what happens in life, your story was about homelessness and struggling through life. Somebody else's story could be about loss, grief, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I think that theme is still important for us to talk about, that no matter what happens in life, God never stops being God. So let's talk from there.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing is, I had to know that God had me, no matter what the situation was. And the thing about God is that you got choices.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, you got choices. So with that being said, now the choice that you choose, it could be the right one or it could be the wrong one.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, God is not leaving you. You made a choice.
That's right.
And so now you got to follow that path. And that's the thing is that telling your story, we're telling a story, but at the end of the day, God had already written your story. So he knew what you were about to go through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to bring yourself out of a situation with God's help But you got to rely on God to know that God is there. God is going through it with you.
Yes.
God is there with you. You can talk to God at any given time.
Any given time.
And say, okay, God, okay, I'm done. You got to fix my mess. You got to help me fix my mess. You got to be truthful with yourself. You can't be like, well, God put me in this mess. No, baby. You put yourself in situations.
And we do.
And we do. We
We
put
do.
ourselves, and sometimes we insert ourselves in situations
Mhm.
when we know that that is not for us.
Right.
And so, and I'm good now. I wake up every morning, and this is something that in the past year, I wake up and I'm like, okay, God, what we doing today? And that's how I start my day. I'm like, God, what we doing?
It's
And
good.
Because
It's good.
I'm not making no other mistakes that are intentionally making mistakes.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, God, what we doing today?
Choosing to do life with God.
Yes, and sometimes I laugh. I'll be like, God, that's what we doing. Okay. So it's funny to me because I'll be like, God has a sense of humor, and I laugh a lot because God does have a sense of humor. I'll be like, for real, this what we doing. And so, and then sometimes now when I meet people,
Mm-hmm.
I separate. I don't be like, oh, well, girl, we just met. We can hang out. No, we met for a reason. I need to find out from God why we met.
Right.
And I don't know if it's to help you. I don't know if it's to counsel you. I don't know if it's to mentor you.
Or it could be that they're there for you.
Or they are there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I do that now when I've never done that before. Because I'm like, okay, God. And it be people in places that you don't know that's there to bless you.
Right.
And you don't know how that person is gonna move you in a way for you to bless them.
Right.
And so it's like I had to learn also with this walk. Everybody's not intended to be in my life. And everybody is not intended for me to be in their life.
That's right.
And I hope I'm saying this correctly where people can understand. Sometimes you have to be selfish with yourself. Not with God, but with yourself, because you can't give yourself to everybody.
You can. And people need to know that and know that that is okay.
Yes.
Everybody does not deserve full access to you.
No.
And you need to
I
know
did
the
not know
difference
that.
of who, when, and where.
Yes. So
Yes, you
now
do.
I literally have to, I pray about it. When I meet people, I'm like, okay, God, a little different, but I'm not judging anyone.
Right.
And so I'm like, a little different, but however, you'll tell me later. And I'll quit to tell people, God will tell me why we met. And they be like, really? I'm like, yes.
Right.
God will tell me. It's going to show.
Everybody's not a root.
No.
So let's say it that way. You got roots and you got leaves. Let's think about it as a tree.
Mhm.
You know, leaves on a tree because seasons come and go. So that tree is going to shed leaves
Yes.
with the turn of a season. And when the season is up for you and that person, if they are a seasonal person, listen to us. If they are a seasonal person,
Oh, it's going to be over with.
when the season changes, the leaves are going to change. You know, the tree sheds those leaves for the leaves to change.
Oh, yes.
Now, if they were to be rooted in your life, roots are there forever.
Oh, yeah, they're not going. And
The
you
roots
gonna know
are
that
there,
they're
they dig deep, and they sustain and they hold.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you need to know who are the roots
Yes.
and who are the leaves
Yes.
that are to leave when the season is done.
Yes.
Amen and amen. Somebody.
Amen. Yes.
That will preach right there.
Yes.
I have one other question before we get into the story of Piper.
Yes.
Because I want you all to tell, not you all, I want you to tell them the story of Piper, because there are a lot of women that have been a Patrice
Mm-hmm.
that have had a Piper.
Yes.
And you know what I mean by
Yes.
that. All right.
Mhm.
So y'all stay tuned, stay right there. Well, let's ask her this question, and we'll get into the story of Piper. All right. So, in learning about yourself on your journey,
Mhm.
I heard you also say, as we were sitting here, and I also heard it in your story, you had to learn to love yourself.
Yes.
Okay? But in doing that, tell us, at what point was it that you really began to embrace who God had created you to be? Accepted that person, learn to love that person, and live as that person.
Actually, it wasn't that long ago. It was about 2 years ago.
Okay?
I was living in Atlanta, and I was going through something. I was going through the heartbreak of being divorced.
Okay.
The pain that caused me, because I was damaged. I wasn't good for myself or anybody, because I put too much love into my marriage and into building this life. And God was like, move. And I'm like, okay, God, where am I moving to? And I wound up moving to New Orleans, which is not far from here. And He put me in a place that I stayed to myself.
Okay.
Every day I walked 3 miles. I became healthy. I know everybody loves food in New Orleans, but I got healthier in New Orleans. I lost weight in New Orleans. So if you see me, the weight has totally changed. I lost weight in New Orleans. I worked out. I worked, and if it rained, I didn't feel right. I learned I bought my rain boots. Like, I walked even in the rain.
Still walking in the rain.
I was walking in the rain. My mental health, because I didn't know the journey that I was on. And we're talking 2 years ago. Being in New Orleans, being by myself for a year in New Orleans. He took me away for a year out of Atlanta to be by myself. That year, God showed me that I got plans for you.
Mm-hmm.
Trust the process.
Come on, Jeremiah 29:11.
And I was like, God, but God, and it's not a but God. Trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived off of St. Charles. I lived in the Upper Garden District off of St. Charles where the streetcar is. But I would never take a streetcar until it was like later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I would walk, and the streetcars, the people that operate the streetcars, they got familiar with me. And if they saw me, they'd be like, "You're not walking today? You're not." That made me feel good. And then I had people that asked me, "Can we start walking with you?" But that was my journey, and that was the me loving me, and me, God talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to learn what God talking to me looks like. Like, it's not,
A lot of people ask that question, how do I know when God's talking?
oh, it's a still voice that you cannot get out of your head, and it doesn't sound like your mama, your daddy, your grandmama. It don't sound like none of them. It is a voice that you know when you know when you know. And you know.
Right.
But you got to be walking in that light in order for God to come speak to
Right.
you.
You gotta listen.
You gotta listen, but you gotta sit still. People
You
don't
do.
know how to sit.
Right. Because He's not loud.
No.
He's not loud.
Baby, that whisper come at
It's
3
in the
o'clock.
stillness of
Yes.
time. Yes.
I was like, Jesus, it's 3 a.m. I
That's
started
when
working.
He talks.
I said, Jesus, we can't
That's
wait.
when He talks.
Let me tell
That's when
you.
stuff is going on in the heavenly.
So if you get text messages from me, that's because God done woke me up and you text me before I went to sleep. So I'm texting you back at 3 a.m. And that's between me and God, just blessing you with a text message. The 3 a.m. wake up calls, and let me tell you, I used to say, God, it's 3. I gotta start
morning.
And God used to say, no, because you didn't do what I asked you to do yesterday. So I'm going to wake you up a little bit early today.
Oh, so you were getting chastised.
I was getting chastised. And I'm like, Jesus, okay, just give me one more hour. And be like, you wide awake now. So I had to learn that. And then I did some research. And that's what I learned. That when it's between 3 and 5 and you wake up, that's your hours that God is talking to you.
That's when God
and
talks.
He wants you
Yes,
so
it is.
still and so
I hope you all
quiet.
hear that. If you're waking up between 3 and 5,
Yes.
that's because God is trying to talk to you and deal with you.
Yes.
Especially those of us that He's called to intercession.
Yes.
He talks to intercessors in those hours, and those when that's when instructions are given.
Yes.
Between 3 and 5 a.m.
Yes. And so I used to battle that because I'm like, this has been every day, Jesus. Like I thought we would do this.
Stuff
like
to
I
do.
had stuff to do.
Yes.
And learning my gift, I didn't want to use it. I fought against it. And I was like, God,
It wasn't given to
but
you
it wasn't
for you.
It wasn't given to me for me.
That's right.
My gift is to help other
It
people.
was to help other people.
And the person that I'll never forget this. I couldn't sleep that for the whole week. I was like, Jesus, for real? And he was like, you didn't do what I asked you to do. You was like, you had one thing to do. You didn't do it. And I was like, but I want to. And God was like, I need you. She needs you. And to go to this person, and I took her to dinner that night. And we sat there, and she said, you look like you got something to say. And I said, no, I don't have nothing to say.
Just lying.
God dealt with me. Oh my God. And the crazy
Oh,
thing
you
about
like getting in trouble.
Oh yeah, I got in trouble all the time. And I still do it every now and then, but now my walk is a little bit different because now I know better, so I do better.
Okay.
And
That part.
yeah, so now I get to sleep until my alarm go off. I get to sleep now because God be like, okay, you ain't been so ignorant as I thought you was.
Oh, you figured it out.
So I done figured it out. So I'm like, we not waiting, we ain't holding. And so the next day, because I couldn't sleep that night, and she called me. I said, I need to see you. I need to talk to you. I need you to come to me. And just so happened, I was speaking at a women's conference that was catered around me. And it was called To Walk in My Stilettos. And it was Michelle Gibson at the Unstoppable Women's Conference in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
And they had put me on a platform, and I told my story, and it displayed to the world at that time. And I met several women that have children that live here in Mobile. I met their mothers that live in other states that were there at this women conference. And the thing about it, that lady, God put her in my life. Me and her would have never took that trip. I don't travel with a lot of people, especially people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I invited her to go to this women's conference with me. And the information that I had to tell this woman, it was almost, to me, I felt like I was too late because I didn't do when God told me to do it. It was actually at that moment, I had no grace time. I had to do what God told me to do. And to do that, that was the hardest thing for me because she just looked at me and she said, how do you know this? And I said, God has been telling me. And I said, when we met, we didn't meet by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You were the person I was in the store for. I didn't even come in the store to buy anything. When I passed you, God was like, go back, bag up just a little bit. And I did, and I just started talking to her. And she just took to me instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, this my new best friend, this my friend. And I was like, no, we're not supposed to be friends. And when I did what I was supposed to do, That was it.
You released her. Okay.
I released her, and she called me every day. She was like, "Okay, did God tell you? Well, did God give you another message?" And it was like, and I said, "You calling the wrong person.
Right.
You need a therapist."
This is
now.
not only that, people try to treat prophecy too like it's soothsayers.
Yes.
And
I was
now you telling my fortune. Can I get another
right.
read? And no,
right,
that's not how that
and
works.
that's not how it worked.
That's not how that works.
So I told her, I said, if God does not give me, then I have nothing to give to you, because it's gonna come from God. He's gonna show me. He's gonna tell me, and to share my gift of prophecy with the world now, it's crazy, because I see things, I am aware of things prior to them happening. And so, and just to go back a little bit about the book, with the publishing company.
Yeah, so
that
let's
I
get on
use,
back.
yes, yes. And so with the publishing company, they picked the book up, and for a lot of you that don't know about book writing, just like movies, everything has to go through beta testing. So my book had to go through beta reading. And so the publishing company sent my book out to 150 readers, publishing companies and other companies, to read my book before, and it was a manuscript, before it even got printed into a book, before it got released to the public. It came back the #1 read for 3 weeks in a row to be released.
I Am Patrice.
I Am Patrice was voted #1 3 weeks in a row. And they were like, this book is relatable, this book is amazing. And that's what the readers were coming back to the publishing company saying, this book relates to every American family. And that set the tone for me. And then I have been nominated for, this year hadn't even started, and I had already got nominated for Author of the Year for 2026.
Yes, at the beginning of the year.
Yes, and the year had not even started.
Yes.
I had already started receiving awards for a best-selling book, for a best-selling author. I've been in several publications, Insider Weekly, Women's Weekly. And again, sometimes I have to look at myself and I'll be like, okay, God. And he was like, trust my process. I have a process for you. And that's what we don't do. We don't trust the process. We want to do it on our own.
Right.
So I'm learning to trust the process in whatever that looks like.
Right.
Because you don't know.
You don't.
And so that was one of the things, because I've had a heavy hitter for me with my nephew passing. And so, and this book is dedicated to him and my cousin.
Yes, I remember that in your dedication.
Yes, my nephew, James Lett Jr., and my cousin Derek Benson. Love my nephew from the time he was born up until, and even to this day. I miss him. I still grieve him. And my cousin Derek, that was, for me, by surprise. That was a shock, because I just left him. And actually, he had just called me for my birthday. I was in Mexico. And he was like, I'm not sending you no message on Facebook for your birthday. I'm calling you. And I was like, for you to call me, and I said, I'm not answering my phone for nobody while I'm in Mexico. And he said, I wanted to tell you happy birthday and I love you. And keep shining. I never thought that would be the last time I would hear from him.
Yeah.
And to get that phone call, I was, and we just celebrated his 50th birthday, because I just literally left him. So all of those things, it's like God he prepares you. And that's one of the things about this book too, in the grieving process. That's something I have been working with God on. I don't have to scream, shout, and cry as much, because I know we all have an end date. And I'm learning. That's still in my walk with God. I'm learning that was that person's time.
Right.
We don't control that.
Right.
So and God doesn't tell us how we're leaving here. He doesn't tell us when we're leaving here. You have to get yourself prepared.
Be prepared. Live intentionally.
Yes.
Treat every day like it's the last day.
Yes.
Love on purpose. Live on purpose. Laugh.
And
All
so
of that.
now everything is intentional for me.
Yes.
I'm doing things intentional because I want my family to know that I love them. I want my friends to know that I love them. Even though we may not see each other. Shout out to Naomi. I know you watching. I love you, girl. The thing about it is that we find those people that are like roots, like you said, and they don't go anywhere. And God is gonna put those people in your life, and you got to be able to know the difference in those people, in growth and in different things, and be there and be intentional with your friendship.
Yes.
And be intentional even with your family in the growth that you have. I'm a strong believer that if we're not growing together, then we're not together. Because
Right.
I need to be
It's either
growing.
we're growing together or we're growing apart.
We're growing
It's
apart.
one or the other.
Right. And we don't have to grow in the same way.
Right.
Because a lot of people want to take people with them when they're growing.
Everybody can't go.
Everybody can't go.
Everybody won't go.
And everybody won't. It wasn't
Can't
nothing
or
for
won't.
me to have 20 people hanging out with me somewhere having a good time. Now it's like people like, you ain't by yourself? I'm by myself. I'm peace.
But the intentionality of life, when you're on God's journey,
Mm-hmm.
when you're trusting the process, as you said, when you're walking in God's plan, you will start to find that your circle gets smaller.
Oh, yes.
It does. And that's not a bad
No, it
thing.
is not. You find more peace. I have more peace now than hanging out with 5 people. I can move around better now, and I don't have to think about nobody else.
But that's a part of the question that I asked you about learning yourself and learning to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you love you, I realized some of my circle was because of the things I was trying to fulfill within myself
Yes.
and to fill certain voids.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had certain people in my life
Yes.
that I thought anyway was helping to fill those things.
Yes.
I find it interesting that you begin to find yourself after a divorce. That's when I begin to find me. It's well put together as people thought that I was.
Yes.
The presentation of me.
Yes.
I would even say on a any given day, it was good. Yeah, I always brought my best self. But it was in my empty nesting and the divorce from my second husband. Because y'all know, I was divorced from my second husband as well. We were remarried.
Yes.
I'm remarried to my second
Amazing
husband.
husband she has.
I've been married 3 times, but 2 times
To
to the same person. But it was in those quiet times because it was after we divorced. That was the first time in my whole life, in my 40s, that I ever lived alone.
Wow.
I was in my 40s before I ever lived alone. Listen to me.
Yes.
My 40s
Wow.
before I ever lived alone. And it was in the alone time that things were so quiet until the quietness was so loud, till it forced me to learn who I was,
Yes.
what I loved, what I wanted, what my journey should look like based on God's plan
Yes.
for my life.
Yes.
So that's why we encourage people to read your book,
Yes.
because that will also help you to connect in a journey like what we're talking about. If you're trying to still connect the dots, and don't be embarrassed that you're in your 40s and your 50s,
No.
still trying to connect the dots.
And even starting over for that matter.
That part.
Let me tell you, I don't mind starting over. Because that means that's the end of a cycle.
Come on, preach. That's a word.
Yes.
That's
I'm
a
ending
word.
that cycle. So if I gotta start over to begin a whole new chapter, I'm willing to do
Let's
that.
do it.
I'm doing it without asking, and I'm gonna say, God, okay, this what we doing. That's
It's
what
what
we
we
doing.
doing.
And I don't mind now because at the end of the day, it's me and God in that purpose.
That's right.
It's me and God in that journey,
Mhm.
and that's me and God that He's showing me, hey, you trusted me, I'm showing you. You
Right.
got this. You can
Right.
do this. And so that's what's important is that if you gotta seek God for who He is in your life,
That's right.
and know that that is God, not the other people, but that's God in your life. That you're gonna do things decent and in order, but intentionally.
Yes.
And that's the number one thing. But for me, I don't mind starting over. I don't mind.
I'm not afraid of it.
I'm not afraid. I used to be. I was like, oh my God, I don't want this person to know, and I don't want this. I could care less
Right.
because I'm not living for them.
Right. People are gonna talk anyway.
Oh yes.
When you're at your highest, people are gonna talk. At your lowest, they're gonna talk.
Yes.
Doing your best, doing your worst, people are gonna talk.
Yes, and I'm never going to be that perfect person that you put me on. And at the end of the day, but I'm a God's child. I'm a woman of God. And as long as I'm walking in that purpose, everything else doesn't matter to
That's
me.
right.
And that's where I am in life. I could care less what somebody feels or thinks. Because at the end of the day, like Smokey Norfolk said, we would rather worship people that can't bless us if they tried to bless us.
What you say?
So at the end of the day, we got to give God that.
Right.
We are so in tune with other people, they can't do nothing for us.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Those same people ain't going nowhere. You got to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to stay over here. You stay over there. And let me keep doing that.
And let me say this. Let's be fair. We won't say they can't do anything, but they're limited
Yes.
in what they can do.
But they ain't giving out blessings.
Right. They're not giving out blessings. And that's where their limitation comes.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, people may be able to do things for you, but we're talking about serving a God that has no limits.
Yes.
A God that can do any and everything, exceeding abundantly
Oh, yes.
above all we could ever ask or think. So, it's almost time for us to wrap up, but we can't wrap up without
Oh,
talking
yes.
about Piper.
Come on, yes.
We have to, because this is going to bless a lot of women. Not just women, couples.
Yes.
Because as we talk about Piper's story and your story, it takes us to talk about loss and grief.
Yes.
There are many women that desire children.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some that have been blessed. There are some women that really want to have children and haven't had that blessing. And some of them are asking the question, God, why? And there were many things that you said in Piper's story
Mm-hmm.
that was truly profound. So let's get into who Piper is, which is one of the most emotional parts of your book,
Yes.
as you talked about Piper. So tell us about Piper.
Piper would be 6 right now, and God knows.
Are you serious? That
Yes.
was 6 years ago?
6 years
I remember
ago.
when you were pregnant. Oh my God, but I didn't think that was 6 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Piper would be 6, and a matter of fact, it's funny because Mother's Day, right before Mother's Day, I said, who would be keeping her? Because, girl, I could deal with no 6-year-old right now.
50 plus.
I feel like,
Piper would have to have a nanny.
right, she would definitely have a nanny. Because I told my mom, I said, you would probably have Piper. And she was like, why you say that? And I was like, I couldn't deal with honey, the way these kids talk right now, she would be running me in circles. And I'm like, there's no way I can have a 6-year-old, honey. She'd be running me ragged. And so Piper is my daughter that I birthed 6 years ago, February the 11th, 2020, actually, in the midst of the hype of COVID.
Yes.
And so I found out January the 13th, 2020, one of my closest friends, I found out on his birthday that I was pregnant. And I actually went to work that morning, and I didn't feel well. And my boss was like, you don't look good. I was like, okay. And working for a hospital, we have different benefits. And so
Okay.
at that time, she had called the urgent care. And she said, I made an appointment. Go ahead and go to the urgent care after your meeting. And so I went, and she said, your weight. And my stomach, it wasn't as big as it was, but it was probably out here. And she said, well, could you be expecting? I said, expecting what? And she said, a baby.
A blessing.
Right. And let me say this. Let me stop and say this. And the reason why this is kind of different is because I was told from doctors, more than one, that I could never have children.
I would say, yeah, that part.
And I would never get pregnant, and I would never, all of these nevers. So, of course, I was in a long-term relationship, and I was raising 2 children already, 2 girls. And so I was a mom already to 2 girls.
I remember your girls.
Yes. And so being a mom already, it was okay, but I was okay with not having children. And then for this nurse you've been hearing for years you can never have children, and then all of a sudden this day, you go to the urgent care and this lady walks in and she's got all this stuff on the table, and I was like, oh, what is that? And she said, well, we're going to check to see how far along you are. I said, far along? And she said, you're expecting? I said, expecting what? She said, oh, baby.
Still asking the folks expecting.
I said, oh, baby, I'm pregnant? And that, I called him on the phone. Piper's dad, I called him on the phone, and I was like, and before I could even realize, he said, you pregnant, huh? And I said, he said, I knew this morning when you woke up. I knew you were pregnant this morning because I had morning sickness. And I was sick that morning. And I was like, no, it's just the way I was brushing my teeth. And he was like, no.
No.
So, no, that was definitely a baby in there. And then they checked the blood levels, and the blood levels was so high. She said, you didn't just get pregnant either. You've been pregnant. So I was about 5 months at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in there. And it's like, it's like when you find out you're pregnant, then your stomach just start getting bigger.
It's like the baby says, here I am.
Right. It was like, hey, mama. And I didn't know it was a girl until later on. I didn't know. And I called my best friend, Shelly, in Texas. And I told her I was pregnant. And she was like, I know you're lying. You're not pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm going to send you over the ultrasound. I'm pregnant. And she was like, I was like, so what you gonna name your baby? And she said Piper. And I was like, okay. And
so that stuck
and it stuck with me because she was like, that's my baby Piper. And that's what she said. She said, that's my baby Piper. And Piper can be a boy or a girl. So I was okay with Piper.
With the name Piper.
Yes. Okay. So she was naming her god baby Piper. So everybody on my job started calling me Cupcake. They knew, I guess, the way I carried. Never been full term almost to that extreme. They knew how to carry. And so I didn't know anything about your low, your high. I didn't know any of that. Right. So they started calling me Cupcake.
All these old wives' tales.
Yes. If you're carrying a low,
right. Your hips spread,
yes.
Girl.
So they kept calling me Cupcake. And when I came to work every day, I had one of my coworkers at the time. She would put different cupcakes on my desk every day. And she had a sandwich that had onions on it one day. And I was like, you ain't gonna be able to sit at your desk and eat lunch because I can't. My smell, she was like, I'm so sorry. And she said, but I brought you a cupcake. And I said, that's fine, but you can't eat that onion
cupcake. That quite make up.
Yeah, cupcakes don't make up for that smell. And so it got time. I went for my ultrasound. I went for multiple ultrasounds. And it was time. I did not tell anybody.
Okay.
At the time. Nobody knew. I didn't call my parents and tell them. I was like, I don't know how to tell my mom, and I want them to be a
Lord.
surprise. So with that being said, in 2020, of course, it's Mardi Gras, it's February, and I was chosen to be the Grand Marshal for
That's right.
Mardi
remember
Gras
that.
Association here in Mobile.
Mhm.
I had not even told them I was expecting. So I had bought my red suit that I wore for my day party.
Mhm.
And like the day before I came here, I had to have her, because my stomach had blew up even bigger. So I got even bigger in a short period of time.
Okay.
So at this time, we're going into 7 months
Okay.
of me being very well pregnant. And I drove from Nashville, Tennessee, where I lived at the time. I drove to Mobile for my day party. And keep in mind, I had not told my parents. And so my parents were at home. And I had a onesie, a baby onesie made. And I had this baby gift bag and some other stuff in the bag. And I had a onesie made that says, I don't know if I'm a he or a she. All I know is that you're grandparents to be. And it was the cutest little thing. And I saw it on Pinterest, and I was like, I gotta get this made. And so it was made, and I had it in a gift bag. So before I could even get out the car, of course I was wobbling. And so my sister was standing in the door, and she was like, so nobody gonna say nothing about us? And I was like, yeah, I gotta
Okay,
go to the
Carla,
car.
in
Right.
case you're listening.
Yes. And so I wound up having to go get the gift bag out of the car, wobbled back to the car to get the gift bag. And this is like the day before my day party. So my parents are finding out I'm expecting this baby
Oh my goodness.
when I get to Mobile.
Oh my goodness.
And big as a house, stomach. I think half of my belly was showing in the suit because my stomach was so big. I couldn't even wear my heels. I had to get the gold tennis shoes to wear to my day party. And but that was an amazing experience. And then I had a motorcade. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get on top of the car
Oh my goodness.
to ride. Yeah, it was amazing. But Piper had her own journey. She enjoyed it for the most part. And then it came time when I went back to Nashville after leaving here for Mardi Gras. I went back to a doctor's appointment, and they said that her heartbeat was faint, and they put me on bed rest.
Okay.
And so with that being said, I stayed on bed rest, and the doctor called, and she was like, we're gonna have to induce you. And I was like, and she's like, the baby's in there, but we're gonna have to take the baby out. So the baby came, and me and Top, the person, Piper's dad, sorry. I'm trying to eliminate
Concealing
names.
names.
Right, I'm concealing names.
Okay.
I didn't.
It's
not
okay.
Even, I didn't even put.
We
Yes,
can catch it. We can
yes.
catch it.
Happy birthday to you if you're watching. I know it's your birthday. So we went to the hospital that morning. They induced me. She was like, they just did an ultrasound. Big old baby in there. She was like, we got to get her out of there. So I was like, okay. So she came out, and she didn't make it. And the doctor came back, and she was like, we can call the funeral home, or we can do, it's up to you. And he said, no, we don't want to do that. Piper's dad said, no, we don't want to do that. And he wasn't, and to be very honest, he wasn't happy about me being pregnant. He did not want any more children, but we didn't do anything to preserve not having children. And so he told me that he was going to give up his parental rights. And so when my parents found out that I was pregnant, they was like, this is our baby, this is the Richardson baby. So we were gonna, they had my back 1,000%. And I appreciate that.
Anybody know your parents?
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody that knows my parents know that that child would probably be running their household right.
Well taken care of.
Well taken
Just
care
like
of.
you and your sister were well taken care of.
She would probably have rhinestone everything on dealing with my mama.
Yes.
And and so she probably would have a glow in the dark rhinestone bow in her head when she went to sleep at night. So that's that. And so with that being said, my daddy used to call me and say, "Yo, mama already preparing for this baby. She said that's her baby," and I was like, "Yeah," but she was like, "Oh, you moving home?" I was like, "No, I'm not moving home when I had a baby." She was like, "Well, we finna buy a house. We finna we finna move to Tennessee. We coming to you." She wanted to be where her grandbaby was.
I can't blame her.
And so, and it's just a blessing to even have parents that want to be grandparents.
Yes.
And want to be in your life and in your child's life to be a part of that growth, to help with that. And so and they were amazing grandparents to my nephew as well, because he was spoiled, and he's definitely a granddaddy's baby. And so that's the thing, is that when this happened, me working at the hospital and my job at that time, I was over the pediatric department.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, I want to donate my baby. I want to do genetic testing. I want to know why my baby passed.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that that is an option that they can do to find out, was it a birth defect? What was going on? So I did do the genetic testing before they cremated her.
Okay.
I did have that done. So when I went for my follow-up after giving birth to her, and at this time, the pandemic is happening so strong. They're shutting down all of these states, and I'm already at home, so I'm not knowing what is going on. And then I went back to work. I was like, I'm ready to go back to work. And because sitting at home in that solitude will make you go mentally crazy.
Yeah.
And
Thinking.
Yes, just thinking, wanting. You wanting your baby. You want to hold your baby. You're missing your baby. You're missing the cry, the laugh, the smile.
Right.
You want those things. And that's the hardest thing. And I've had those moments were hard.
Yeah.
Because I went through it by myself. And I didn't have to go through it by myself, but I did. Because I was in Tennessee, my family wasn't there. And again, I was in a long-term relationship, and I was also raising 2 children. I had 2 girls already. And so, with that...
Children of the heart. Let's say
definitely.
Yes, not children of the womb, but children of the heart. Definitely. I think y'all understand what we mean by that.
Yes. And I love them to this day. I got them when they were 6 and 4.
Okay.
And one is in college now, and the other one is graduating from high school. So big shout outs to them, amazing young ladies. And they were ready to be sisters, honey. They was like, "Where the baby at?" We went, and I had to sit them down and have that conversation with them, and for them to be young, they were wise. And the youngest one always tell me, "Well, mommy, you got me," and I was like, "I know, baby." And she was like, "But I really enjoyed playing with my sister," and I was like, "Yeah, I know." And when in silence, and when I went in my room, I would cry. Because that was just a part of me that I really wanted. I wanted to have. If I could have had 10 kids, I would have had a bunch of house full of babies. I always wanted children. Love kids.
Which I don't understand how would somebody loves to travel like you, always gone. So I guess they would have all had nannies. But anyway.
That's all traveling.
That's an inside joke. Go ahead. We're listening to these 10 babies.
Yes.
10 babies.
I wanted 10 babies. And so with that, I went back to the doctor right before I went to work, and they told me Piper, with her life expectancy would have been 7.
Oh, wow.
So next year I would have been looking at burying my child at 7 years old. She had severe Down syndrome because I was in my 40s having this baby. So I was high risk, a diabetic, wasn't as healthy as I am now. A lot of factors. And then the chromosomes were not adding up for her. So he was like, if she would have stayed, you wouldn't have had the baby that you thought you were gonna just have. And so I was like, and most people would have been so devastated. I went to God and God was like, but I showed you something. I gave you something. That was my gift. God gave me the fact that I could birth after man said I couldn't.
Yeah,
God,
that's true.
God showed me.
Because they
I
said
could.
that you never would.
I never would. So God showed me, you can do this. I got you. You a mom. Now you can put that on your resume. Now you're a mom. Not only are you a mom, but you was able to carry that baby. I've had multiple miscarriages, but I was able to carry that baby. And it's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't think about her. During her birthday, and I still saw people say that is where you're not fully healed because I still celebrate her birthday. And it's not that I'm healed, but that's my relationship with her. Because if she was here, I would be doing it. With her not being here, because the person is not here, that doesn't mean we don't celebrate them. That's still a celebration of life. So I still celebrate her birthday, whether I do it by myself or I do it with someone. And recently, Piper's dad, 6 years, he's never, and for her birthday this past year, we talked. And he was like, from this point on, now I understand. I understand how you feel. And from this day forward, whatever you want to do for her birthday, we will do it. If we want to talk, if we want to go to the park, whatever it is that you want to do for her birthday, we will do it from this point on. And you have to give people grace because sometimes it takes a time because we don't know how other people deal with things.
That's true.
And men grieve different than women, and you have to give them that grace to not say they don't care, but they don't understand all the time. And I just said, okay, and he was like, so have you thought about it? And I said, I haven't thought about it. I'm still thinking about my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
That's so
about
Patrice though, y'all.
Yes.
But anyway, go ahead.
So, yes, it's all about my birthday. My birthday's coming up, y'all. And so, and that touched me. And that was recent. That was in February because her birthday is February the 11th.
Okay.
And so he reached out to me and he said, from this point on, we will celebrate her birthday together if that's what you choose. And he has no idea that did something for me. And it touched me in so many different ways because I have been doing it by myself and I still grieve her. Not as much anymore because she's God's child and I had to give her back to God. And of course you want to question God. You want to, why me? Why my child? Why this? Why those things?
And all those are natural questions.
Those are natural questions. And then you don't understand what God is taking you through and taking you out of because if I had my daughter, I don't think I would have wrote the book.
Okay.
I don't think I would have had time. I don't think she would have gave me enough time because I'd probably be somewhere running trying to get her to sit down. So I don't think I would have written the book. And with that, I didn't dedicate the book to her because I dedicate my life to her. So I didn't dedicate this book to her because she gets so much more than that from me. And to know that my grandmothers and everybody has her in heaven, that pleases me. And I'm comfortable with that thought, with that notion of knowing that she's well taken care of. And I know Eva J is probably like, oh yeah, she good up here. And so, and I'm happy with that. And so when I think about her, I do think about who she's there with. And that's my thing. And that's what makes me, that's the joy that I have in my heart, it's not the sadness always, it's the positive. That God had a whole nother purpose for me, He had a whole nother purpose for her. And He showed me that I'm going to give you something that man told you you could never do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you have to trust and have faith in God. That He can do all things exceedingly and abundantly in your life. You have to trust the process.
Yes.
So and that's for everybody, not just me in this instance. We all go through something, but we have to understand what God has taken us through. I feel like I'm a stronger woman now than I've ever been. I never thought a book, honestly, a prophet can say, yeah, you're going to have the best-selling book, but in your mindset, you're like, okay. I mean, being realistic, you're like, okay. But then to know that my book is blessing so many people
Yes.
out of the country and in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
My book is in every country, not just the United States. My books are in Airbnbs in St. Thomas. I have books in every Airbnb I visit. I leave a book.
Okay.
I do that on purpose. And for whatever reason, that's just a part of me that God is like, no, you leave you behind.
Mm-hmm.
You leave I Am Patrice behind. You leave this house something. And I've had somebody recently to tell me, I went on vacation.
And
I
so
left
the
a book. No,
Oh,
they took a book
They
and
took
left a book.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I'm like, wow. This book has touched so many people. To now I have started a mentorship. And women choose me to mentor them.
Okay.
And I like that. I like that they choose me. And that's so important that they choose me, because it has to be in their heart. That they choosing somebody that they know is gonna put them in a good light, that's gonna want the best for them, that's gonna help them grow and help them develop. And I love that about the whole process of mentoring women and young ladies. I started a nonprofit, Teach One, Bring One, that is for women and young ladies that are going through things. I help them with clothes. I help them get jobs. I help them do different things. And so when I was homeless, one of the shelters had a Dress for Success program. And I'm not telling anybody to go to California and get homeless. Let me just say that. But I wore $300 heels. In the homeless shelter. I had on $300 heels.
In the homeless shelter.
In the homeless shelter because
of that program.
Because of that program. They took us to the Staples Center, and they had all of these different organizations that donated clothes. And they gave away Neiman Marcus. I had Neiman Marcus heels on and clothes. And I didn't look homeless. You don't have to look like
what you're
no, ever.
Come on, say it one more time.
You do not have to look like what you're going through. And that's the thing. And so when somebody tells you that they going through something, and you be like, but you got a nice car, but you got a nice this, but you don't know what they went through to get through.
Right, that's true.
And that's the thing. We're so judgmental on people till we don't look at the circumstances. And that's what this book does. I take you through homelessness to becoming an entrepreneur, to becoming a trendsetter, to becoming this version of me that God created. And I can't even say that enough, that this book has done that, not only for me, but for other people.
Yes.
And then to now, God is like, you know what? You wrote it, now I'm going to do my part. And now to be on so many platforms. Shout out to Essence Fest this weekend in New Orleans. I will be speaking at Essence this
if
year.
You're going to the Essence
Yes.
Fest. What stage? Tell them where to find you.
I I have no earthly idea. Definitely check out the podcast on
Okay.
Sunday mornings. I will be on the spiritual channels Sunday morning, on July the 5th at the convention center. I'm not sure what stage, what platform at this time, but shout out to Essence Festival. Shout out to all the entertainers, everybody that is performing. Everybody, please come be yourself, but also be safe
Yes.
in this time and in this season that we're going through with this country right now. And
Yes.
so, but shout out to everybody that is coming to Essence, and I'm looking forward to much growth and much happiness coming abundantly from me
Amen.
and everything.
Amen.
So
Amen.
I'm taking it all in right now. It's just a lot sometimes, and God's like, no, you're gonna be here, cause I leave New Orleans and I have a flight to catch to Orlando. I was
Okay.
like, okay, God, you move with me, and I'd be
Trust
like,
the
you
process.
have to trust the process,
Trust
and
the
God got you.
process.
My uncle who's watching, he calls me the go-go girl. And so I love it because people think, oh, you're out of the country, you're here, you're there.
Honey, she can't help it. It's in her genes.
It's in my genes. And not only is it in my genes, but sometimes you have to step away in order to come back a better you. And I separate. One thing I would like to share with people, when you have a hectic day, for me, I'm going to share my hectic day every day for me. Even if it's not hectic, I take 2 hours. I don't talk to nobody for 2 hours before I go to bed.
Okay.
Because I sit in silence
Mm-hmm.
because of the peace.
Mm-hmm.
I want peace when I go to sleep. I don't want anything on my mind. I want to rest well.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, don't sweat anything. Don't stress. It's nothing you can fix. It's none of that. But I don't want to know your problems before I go to bed. I want God to just slowly put me to sleep.
Yeah.
At peace.
Yeah.
And I want to wake up peacefully.
Yes.
Because when you go to bed stressed, angry, anxiety, you're going to wake up the same way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2
That's
hours before I'm like, okay. And I
That's
pray.
true.
I pray.
That's good therapy.
Very good therapy.
Good
But
therapy.
I had to get that I have to have that time for myself. And I don't care what state, what country I'm in, I shut it off.
That's right.
And I have to do that for myself. And so if you guys are watching and listening, take time out for
Listen to it.
yourself. Take time out for your mental. And guess what? That cousin gonna be there tomorrow. They're
That's
gonna
right.
still
That
tell
same
you the
problem
same
gonna be
thing.
there tomorrow.
Everything.
All
You
of it.
gotta take time out
Work
for
will
yourself.
be there tomorrow.
Yes. The same project you
All
didn't
of
finish
it.
today, it's still gonna
Right.
be there tomorrow.
That's right.
Don't sweat anything. Get you some sleep and rest. And
Rest.
trust the process.
Rest.
Trust the process.
All right. So let's do some rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
These are fun and personal. This is going to help us to round our night out. The time has been far spent, but well spent.
Yes.
I think that we've heard a plethora of things tonight that can truly bless our hearts, that will truly enlighten you, encourage you. There are a lot of takeaways on tonight. Well, let's do some fun things. Let's hear some fun things about the author, and then we'll have one closing question that we're going to get you to give it to us in just a few words.
Okay.
And then we're going to tell everybody where to find your book, and we're going to say good night. All right?
Okay.
All right, so here we are, real quick, rapid fire. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
One word that describes you today.
Unstoppable.
Ooh, I love it. One lesson you wish you had learned sooner.
I can't
Okay.
answer that.
Okay.
I can't answer that not publicly.
Okay, so we're going to skip. All right, favorite scripture.
My favorite scripture is Proverbs 31.
All right.
I
Okay,
am
the Proverbs 31.
Yes, I am a virtuous woman.
Okay, then favorite worship song.
We fall down and we get up.
Okay. If you could have dinner with one biblical woman, who would it be and why?
question.
Okay.
When we say biblical, are we speaking Bible or are we speaking in the living biblical?
Give me someone from the Bible.
Sarah.
Sarah, love it. Why? What is it about Sarah? Sarah.
She, just the whole story
Okay.
of Sarah. We don't speak on her enough.
I can agree.
And she would do something. So for me, I relate. I think for me, she's relatable for me.
Okay.
When I read her story, she's relatable. And that's the thing, is that you hear it but you don't really understand it. And that's the thing about reading the Bible. We interpret things so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think her story is just relatable to me.
Okay. All right. And what brings you peace?
Knowing that everything is okay.
Okay. Because you trust in God.
I'm trusting in God.
What makes you laugh?
Everything. Everything makes me laugh. I love to laugh.
agree with that.
Yeah,
You
everything.
laugh at everything.
I
You
laugh
do.
at everything. Even when I'm mad, I'm laughing. Laughter is good for the soul.
It is. The Bible tells us that.
Yes, it's good for the soul.
Do it
And
good
it
like
brings-
a medicine.
Yes, and it's a piece of, and when I'm going through something, I cut on comedy. It doesn't matter who I'm watching.
I used to do that.
It makes me laugh.
Yeah, I used to
And
do
it
that.
makes me forget everything I was
Yes.
thinking about. It
Yes.
gives me a whole nother type of peace.
Yeah.
So I love laughing.
Okay.
And that's just a big thing for me.
Okay. And what are you most grateful for right now?
My family. Just my support system.
I hope y'all are listening. I think your mom and your sister are on here.
Oh, okay. My support system alone, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I come from an amazing family, a lot of educators. It, hands down, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Mm-hmm.
To have the family that I have, both of my parents, my grandparents that I was raised with, it just takes a lot. And so that's the thing, is I'm just gonna say my support system at this point, at this moment, because it is a lot to handle sometimes. And so and they're always there. No matter what it is, they're always there. And so I'm grateful for that. And also, you guys, here in Mobile, Alabama, July the 26th,
Okay.
I will be doing a book signing
Okay.
at Kazula's Sunday brunch at Kazula's
Downtown Dolphin Street.
from 12 to 3, July the 26th. That will be all over social media. It hit social media today, but I will
did
be
see
doing
that.
a book signing from 12 to 3. Books will be sold. We can do pictures, whatever you guys want to do. Even if you have a book, bring it. If you want it signed, bring it. Come hang out. Come see me. I'm encouraging my friends, my family, to just come out and support. Even if we're not friends and family, come out and support. Because everybody, just come eat brunch. The cabbage is amazing. So, I mean, just, and shout out to Miss Dillahay, Mark Jackson, everybody at Kazula. Amazing staff, management, everybody there. I can't thank everybody enough for just the support of everything that I have going on. And to see the city just come and support. Or when people see me out now, they be like, oh my God, what are you doing in Mobile? And I'm like, oh, I'm just out, and I love it. And so I I love the support that I get now because people are like, I've seen you before, and I'm like, probably on social media. And so I want to say thank you to everybody
Absolutely.
that has followed this journey with me, has been a part of this journey with me, and continuously being in my life and being a step. Whether you were a footstool, whether you was the step ladder, you've been a part of my life, and I'm
Amen.
grateful for that. And I always keep God first, and just keep praying for me. Keep praying for my growth and what I have going on, and I will continuously pray for you guys as well.
Amen. Tell them real quick, where can they buy your book?
My book is sold on Barnes and Nobles. I think it's softback, and you can get Kindle, hardback, and paperback on Amazon. And as soon as you Google or put in "I Am Patrice" the book on Amazon, it will pop up.
Yes.
It's the first book, and of course, this is the cover of the book, the skinny version of me. And but this is the book, and I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and definitely like, share, write your reviews on Amazon. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the book. Share with somebody. Get the book as a gift for somebody you know that is going through something. You don't know how much you can bless them with the book. Just sharing a story from someone else that you feel like that they can be helped with.
That's right.
So I thank you guys, and definitely get the book.
Well, we ask that you please do purchase the book. Mama Glow, I know that you are with us tonight. If you will, please put in the comments that the book can be purchased on Amazon. On Amazon, you can get it as Kindle, paperback, and hardback. And then Barnes and Nobles, you said it
Yes,
was?
Barnes and Nobles is paperback.
Barnes and Nobles is paperback. Also, if you're local to the city, the author does have books on hand. That way you can get it personally signed and have your hardcover book. We want to thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. Thank you for sitting down. As I said, the time is far spent but well spent. I think we had a really good time. I have thoroughly enjoyed being here tonight to talk to our author, Patrice Richardson. Again, you've been with the Spiritual Barista Evangelist E. It's been my great pleasure to be here with you, to sit down, to sip on this rich brew tonight as we talk to this author. Please support her, buy the book. Again, thank you for tuning in, and have an amazing night, and I'll see you all again very soon.